Welcome to Pick Central. I don't know. We're watching Notre Dame Miami women's game right now, so I don't know. I can't see myself.
From over Christmas break.
Yeah, they're 7-5. There might not be anything worse on TV right now. Who's watching this Notre Dame Miami women's game at 12 o'clock on a Friday from 2 months ago?
Not really sure. Especially since they have a game on right now. UNC Asheville and Charles Southern's on right now. So I don't know why we're watching women's. Well, we respect women.
Today, it is myself, Rico, and Megan making money. Today's episode is presented by Omaha Steaks. Spring is in the air, and that can only mean one thing: spring grilling. The steak experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to spring into something delicious with their semi-annual sale with 50% off site-wide. Grab all your favorites like perfectly aged tender steaks, ocean fresh seafood, juicy burgers, incredibly air-chilled chicken, and desserts. When you go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code PICKS at checkout, you'll add an additional $30 off your order. So I mean that's like that. Sometimes I read these ads, I'm like, why am I not doing it?
No, that's a good one.
That's a fantastic one. So go visit omahasteaks.com, use code PICKS at checkout, and get an additional $30 off when you shop their semi-annual sale today. Minimum order may be required. I love Omaha Steaks. I think we all have talked about how much we like them. It's getting a little warmer out here. It's like 40-something. I was a little happier today. All right, today we're doing mostly college basketball because we have three people that actually watch it all the time, and I don't think we've ever really talked about college basketball for more than 10 minutes on this show. Am I wrong?
15.
I don't think you're wrong. Yeah, I think 15 might be pushing it. 15 might be pushing it.
So I'm going to get to two stories before we get to college so that we could dive right in. But today we're also going to take some calls about some college basketball. So if we can put that number up on the screen, Ebo, when you get a chance.
Did you watch any of the wacky conference tournaments last night, Megan?
I didn't watch much last night. I watched that Illinois game, which I pushed on because of if I wanted to wear the Rico sweatshirt today. Make your fucking free throws. Huge deal there. But I'll take the push. But yeah,
so
not great.
This kid from Detroit Mercy, Youngstown State was the 1, Detroit Mercy was the 8. They gave him everything they could right up until it. But the crazy stat that came up, Ebo, you have this tweet if you've seen it. He came.
I like Detroit Mercy.
I have not seen.
Kid from Detroit Mercy. I don't know his name. 4 points short of Pete Maravich's all-time career.
Pistol Pete.
He did it in 5 seasons. Pete Maravich did it in 3.
Oh yeah,
with
Maravich,
no 3-point line.
The craziest thing is
fucking insane.
You just couldn't play basketball when you were a freshman. That was like crazy back in the day.
Yeah, that was the rumor too. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Anthony Davis.
Yeah. So it's
it was like 82 games to
144 games. I just sent the email. 36-64 points, 25.4 points per game. Maravich's 3 years at LSU, 83 games, 3,000.
I was wearing the LSU gear today. I knew you were going to bring it up. I knew you were going to bring up Pete. So I was
3,667 points, 44.2 a game without a 3-point line. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's literally just.
And this 5-year thing is going away. Guys aren't going to get a 5th year anymore. So that this kid.
I think after.
It's going to get phased out.
2 more years, I think we have of it.
Is it that long?
Yeah, because Hunter has a COVID year, and
Would y'all put Pistol Pete as one of the top college basketball players ever up there?
It's crazy that I don't think a lot of people would think of him, weirdly, but I do think you have. Like, how do you not?
Every year at Sleepaway Basketball Camp in the ping pong room and the film room at night, they would show the documentary. Well, not documentary. It was a movie about his life. He was just dribbling, spinning the ball all the time. It's fucking insane.
Loves ball.
What? Yeah, he's dribbling on a train tracks. It's fucking nuts.
If you have anything college basketball or anything you want to talk about, call in 888-786-6522. That is 888-786-6522. All right, before we get more into college basketball, we got to talk about C.J. Stroud. Because C.J. Stroud, man, fucking lied, dude. Let's watch the video first.
Yeah, it's a wild quote.
But it's just like, are you dumb?
One of the reasons I wore number 7 was because Michael Vick. He inspired me not only just to
That makes
be
sense.
athletic and use my athleticism, but as a black quarterback to stay in the pocket and throw the ball. And that's something that he was very underrated in. And then I looked up to Deshaun Watson a lot as somebody I feel like I have a similar playing style to. And then Joe Burrow, being able to create, not being the fastest guy, but being able to kind of extend plays,
but
throw guys off,
also
and
didn't
be
look
tough.
up to
And
Joe
that's something
Burrow.
that,
He was like 2 years
that I
older
feel like
than
I'll do in this game.
You don't look up to Joe Burrow.
one
It's
of
like he's 2 years younger than Joe Burrow.
Literally 3 years younger.
Oh, Burrow's a little bit older.
Michael
3 or 4
Vick,
years, but like,
listen, you can everyone looked up to Michael Vick as a quarterback. Even us that didn't play football did. But he did fight. Dogs did fight.
You cannot deny that the man was an absolute fucking weapon. Like
you
can't deny his athleticism, but he did fight dogs.
Yeah, we can. It's sad. It's sad, but we can almost let it slide a little bit with Michael Vick. It's been a little time, but like Deshaun Watson, dude, you don't have to say him. Like you don't have to say the guy.
It's too soon. Too soon.
It literally is like last year, and it's like, dude, these kids like Nate Oates. We gotta have Nate Oates, Stroud, like a bunch of these guys. Boeheim probably has got to go back to media school just to like, dude, you're allowed to lie to the media and not say exactly what's on your mind, because you don't have to tell everyone Deshaun Watson's the guy you looked up to. Lie to say someone else, anybody else.
Just say, as according to this, say Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
like that's
Cam
the guy
Newton,
you look up to.
like anyone. Oh, Rico, you mad at Jack sleeping?
I'm just waving at him. Messing him off.
But yeah, that's just a crazy. It's just, you're not in the NFL yet. Just be very careful what you have to say, because you know that video is going viral very fast.
Yeah, that was a dumb. I mean, the other you didn't look up to Joe Burrow. I have more of an issue with Joe Burrow, like Deshaun Watson, despicable acts, whatever.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I feel like you're saying only because he's younger, and I feel like you can look up to people even if they're younger than
But
you.
Joe
like,
Burrow only became Joe Burrow at LSU, which was what, 3 years ago?
2019.
Yeah, 2019. Like CJ Stroud, like it wasn't like Burrow was like 4 years in college. Like this guy's legit.
Yeah,
it was only one. No, I agree with both of you. It's weird.
They're all tough. The answer, I would just been like, if I was like his PR team, I would just pull the mic, like, just, come on, this ain't good.
I feel like he just had like a mashed potato brain moment where it was just like, I don't know, Michael Vick and Deshaun Watson. Like, no, bro, those are the things you don't say.
It's also crazy that the guy from Georgia, what's his name, was going to go like 3rd overall.
I can't. It's slipping my brain too.
Yeah, got arrested.
Cam? No,
I don't know the name.
Yeah,
yeah.
Ebo, what's his name? Sometimes, are you guys listening? Sometimes back there? No, right?
No.
No, right?
What's his name?
Whose name?
Jesus Christ.
Georgia guy.
The Georgia guy.
The racing guy.
Stetson Bennett.
Oh
no, the one that raced his car and
Our
the
producer is
Jalen Carter.
Fucking lunch.
Jalen Carter. I know it started with a C. No, he said Carter.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he just got out of jail and then went to the combine is outrageous. Like, I don't even know what.
I've never been to jail, but I would assume that like that might be a kind of like a mental. That's a mental day for you. That's a long day to go to jail and then get out and just go run a 40. Like.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, him and Brandon Miller, I guess, just.
Built
Miller
different,
did not
I
go
guess.
to jail.
Yeah, no, I know he didn't go to jail, but he got basically. I think it was worse that what happened to Brandon Miller than, I forgot his name already. But
Carter. No, Jalen Carter's worse.
He'll go 3rd overall still though, because he's a good football player.
That's just how it goes.
It doesn't even matter.
Did those two things happen on the same night? Because I think they did.
Really?
January 15th.
Yeah.
Probably something crazy with the moon. It's probably like a full moon that night or something.
Payday.
You gotta move paydays off of weekends.
Payday should always come the first day of March Madness. That should just be a law, because it's just.
You just get a bonus on March 1st.
So
everyone gets like a $5,000 bonus.
Yeah. Before we keep going to go into college basketball, Megan, did you see the argument yesterday of Aaron Rodgers and Morgan Wallen?
I don't know if I did, but I would love to see that argument.
Who's more famous? So
Why are we doing that? Why are we dick measuring if you're Aaron Rodgers and Morgan Wallen?
it was just like because sometimes we get, I think, just conversations happen in the office, which this one might have started from me, and I was like, said it just like I know, like in my Aaron Rodgers is more famous.
I would say yes.
But it's a lot closer than people think. People are like, it's in a landslide. Morgan Wallen's the number one country artist, 100% right now. He is. 2, it's not good, but getting canceled, really, a lot more people know about him when he got canceled twice. He said the N-word, bad, and then he kissed 14 girls in Alabama ball. Remember that?
No.
He got and then SNL canceled, and then he was supposed to go on SNL, and he said he can't go on because
I would like to poke a hole because I will say that I feel like Aaron Rodgers' fan base, especially with Wallen being canceled in that specific, race of people, probably has Aaron Rodgers is 100% more famous because you have Morgan Wallen. White people love him. But anybody else probably doesn't.
No, I'm really gonna. They love him too. Black people went on being like, yeah, you know what? He can say it. He's a really good singer. There's like so many videos going on about it. Obviously, you can't say it.
Twitter and look and see the divide there.
I'm telling, I think the girl aspect. Girls all know Morgan Wallen. Not all girls know Aaron Rodgers.
I know Aaron Rodgers more than I do Morgan Wallen, but that's only because I like sports more than I enjoy country music.
Yeah, I'm saying most girls. And people's arguments and girls do know Aaron Rodgers because of the girls he's dated as well. I think it's as close than people think. That's all I gotta say. All right, let's take some calls, but I want to talk about the Big Ten right now.
Disaster.
Because the Big Ten.
Pull up that tiebreaker graphic, please. Have
Michigan,
you seen this, Megan?
Have
you seen this? It's like a fucking...
No, pull it up. I would love to see it because all we've done is talk shit about the Big Ten. So I would love to see what's happening.
It's insane. So there's 14. We'll do this before you pull up the graphic. There's 14 teams in the Big Ten. How many teams slots are slated for the Big Ten tournament? Like how many teams are locked into those positions? Can't move.
4?
3. The last 2, and Purdue at the 1.
Yep.
It's bananas.
That's disgusting.
The rest is just like a puzzle. If this happens, this happens.
There's one game
wild. Yeah, everybody has one game left. It's nuts.
I think they're pulling it up now.
No, I have.
It's all right. The thing is with Michigan right there, they're in second place. Well, they're now 11-8. Everyone is 11-8 from 2 to 6, I think. Or 2 to 7 is all 2 to 7 is all tied for second place at 11-8, which is fucking.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
But the crazy thing is, Michigan, who's tied for second place in the Big Ten, is not in the tournament right now. Like that's just something crazy to think about. But I want to know, why is Wisconsin at 8? They're 8-11 in the Big Ten, and they're 16-13 overall, but in the tournament right now. Tell me why.
Yeah. If you look at what Villanova beats UConn on Saturday.
Wait, don't. We're going to the Big East.
I understand that. I think Villanova's resume is as comparative to Wisconsin's. Like it's closer than you think. And Wisconsin is one of those teams that people are like, yeah, they're probably in or they're right there, and Villanova's nowhere to be found. Well, that's all I'm saying. The two resumes are not that.
I think Villanova has bad losses. Like
I honestly think this year
Temple
we should just scrap the whole Big Ten from the tournament. Get in everyone else that never gets to get in some other small schools that are just like catching fire.
Look at this
and then let the Big Ten stay home.
Megan, look at this thing.
I can't even see that.
Yeah, that's how crazy it is.
Bananas.
It's so stupid. Whoever made the graphic has way too much time.
Iowa can move everywhere from 2 to 6. Michigan, it's insanity. And then you look at some of the top teams. Like I was not necessarily like I was a 7. I was like on a good day, Iowa might be a 6 seed. Like the Big Ten itself is, you're just gonna have a lot of ugly seed numbers.
But let's go back to Wisconsin real fast, because you say Villanova, but Villanova does have, like, their beginning of the season has the people don't realize bad losses outweigh so much. Like a quad 4 loss, like Central Michigan is the reason why they're not in the tournament right now. Villanova, Temple is an awful loss. Like Wisconsin, though, they're 16-13, 8-11 in the conference, and they're
What was
in the
their
tournament.
what was their worst loss?
Wisconsin, I know their best win was Marquette early in the season, but let's see some of their losses early of non-conference were Wake Forest.
Oh, great.
Wake Forest they lost to, and they lost to Kansas, but they beat USC. So like they don't have any bad losses, but
No.
16-13 is not a tournament team in most years, right?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Like usually 20 gets you no matter what
20
you're
wins
in.
is where you want to fight to get to.
It's just
wins.
and then there's just so many teams that are all like UNC. Everyone's saying UNC Duke has lost its juice. It's just a false thing to say, because if UNC wins, they're pretty much going to get into the tournament if they beat Duke on Saturday. If they don't, they're out. Basically, because the ACC, you're not going to get that many unless they win the whole thing, obviously. But there's a ton of teams where, and I know people, again, think I'm a homer, but Michigan has been playing their best basketball as of late. And Kobe Buffkin that came out of nowhere. Like, there's a lot of teams that might not even get in that I think could do pretty good in the tournament, but I think this tournament's going to be fucking insane. No?
No, it is wide open. It does make a lot of sense. But the same teams haven't really moved out of the top 10 all year. Like Bama, Purdue, Houston, Texas, Kansas. Baylor started at like 16, but I do think there's a group of teams that you say it's wide open. They haven't really ever moved out of that top.
Yeah.
So they're definitely still there. But the under-the-radar teams, yeah, I mean, Creighton up and down. Like, you could talk me into Arkansas making a run into the Sweet 16.
That's what
Kansas State is, like, electric. There's a lot of 3, 4, 5s.
I think Purdue gets bounced early.
I do, too.
There's a lot of big names at 7 through 10, too. Like, Texas A&M is second in the SEC. They're going to be at 10.
I kind of like A&M to potentially make a little run. Them and Arkansas would be my two out of the SEC.
Iowa can shoot the lights.
Iowa
can shoot the lights out. They're going to be at like an 8-9 pesky. Providence is top 25. They're going to be an 8, like
so
7.
That's what I'm saying.
Duke has been playing better. They're going to be at a 6 to 7 type.
You know what's crazy? Duke is underrated this year.
Yeah, I would agree
with that only because y'all are overrated every other year.
Yes, they're overrated every other year.
We had the market, I think, on the seed markets for Duke, and I think it was under 7 was like plus money. I could see Duke getting into that 6 range.
100%. Like the ACC tournament's so wide. Like Duke has won their last 5 games there with like pretty handedly. Like they're fully healthy now. It's just crazy that no one's really talking about Duke at all because
I started to fade Duke at the wrong time. Like I wasn't playing on them because I was so worried about them in the beginning of the year being that Duke team that we've known for years. And then finally I go to play against them and I just get absolutely fucking waxed. Yeah. And then Duke gets back to playing their style of basketball, which obviously is important at this time of the year.
They haven't lost. They didn't lose one game at home.
No.
This year, which is
a lot of close wins, but no losses at home.
But no, there's a lot of teams like we just said where a lot of the top teams will be 1 through whatever, but there's going to be seeds from 7 to 10 that are like you don't want to play them as a lot of 8-9 seeds, a lot of 1 seeds are not going to want to play in the second round.
No,
like really good teams that are going to be 8 or 9, and it's like holy shit. I'm still not sold on Houston at all. What was the score last night?
They won by like 88-67, I think.
Oh, they pulled away?
Cover. Yeah, it was. They didn't cover. It was. I just pulled it up. Hold on. It is 66-83.
Oh, they won by 17. Okay.
Oh, wow. It was closer.
So they covered the 17.5. They did cover 17.5.
No,
I think tournament games are ugly. I think they're officiated a little bit closer. I think they're kind of built for Houston.
Yeah. Let's get to a couple calls and we'll talk about some other conferences. 888-786-6522. That is 888-786-6522. All right, let's talk to Cameron. What's going on, man?
What's up? How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So my question is, do you think Kentucky has a legitimate shot at winning the championship?
So,
I don't know about championship.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think they can make a run, but I don't think they win.
It's difficult because if you can get to the second weekend, you have to say they have a shot at winning the championship.
The thing is, I think they can get to the second weekend.
I think they get to the second weekend. I think Calipari's in-game adjustments are going to come back to bite him in the ass. I also don't think they have a guy that can take over. Like you just see him being, it's his tournament.
I wish Toppin would. Sometimes I wish he would.
Wheeler's still out too, right?
Yes. But Shibwe is the person that they need to be the
I shouldn't say that. Shibwe could be the guy who could take over, obviously. But in a tournament, it's more likely that a guard takes over.
Well,
that's why K-State to me is very dangerous.
I think
Noel
my issue
is born for the tournament.
Is again, I'm so low on the SEC that Kentucky is up there and like they're top of the SEC. I just don't trust these SEC teams going in to this tournament and being able to be successful. Like as much as I want to believe that Kentucky can do that, obviously they have the pedigree. They're a blue blood basketball school, but I just don't know if this is the year that they do it.
Because this year I've been waiting for them to really put it together, and they kind of did, and then all of a sudden they throw up a fucking stinker against Vandy, and you're like, all right, well
and they lost to Georgia. Like Georgia's not a good team.
Yeah, no, they seem to be in shambles, but then you obviously know they have the talent, and that's why it's like there's just good value though in a lot of these teams.
And they lost to South Carolina.
Yeah.
Like what are we talking about? I don't know.
Let's go to the Moisty Turtle.
Ew.
Yo.
I like saying that, but what's going on?
Nothing much. I got two things to talk about. One of them is Marty. I have a future on Michigan using the Barstool app at 75-1 to make the Final Four.
Ooh.
And last night tore me apart, man. I really wanted them to win. What do you realistically think they can go into Indiana and win?
Yes. I realistically do. They lost by 1 at home to Indiana.
But Indiana's
That's what I mean. They've been playing such good basketball at the right time. It's about to be March Madness. Like, they are picking it up. And then the second thing is, Rico's kind of more of a Big East guy. What is another team besides Marquette? Because I placed a small future, and these are small ones. Like, this was 3 or 4 weeks ago, by the way. And I have another one on Rutgers for $5 at like 35-1. So that's what I mean. What is another team besides Marquette that you could see making a run in the tournament?
Rico, let's say it on 3. Ready?
Hold on.
2,
No,
3.
you're both wrong. I already know what you're going to say, and you're both wrong.
just in the Big East or in general?
Big East.
Let's say it on 3, Rico.
Yeah.
1,
2,
2,
3. Xavier.
Yeah, that's just right.
I also can see Creighton. All right, so here's the thing.
There's actually 3 teams I'd pick before Xavier this year.
So Xavier's,
Maybe
we
4.
talked about it yesterday on Money Shots. Xavier's defensive efficiency for the year is like 75. Over the last month and a half, it's 51. They're getting better. Now they don't fit the profile. I say it all the time too. You got to go really deep and few and far in between here for guys who've been to the second weekends. Go through the top 10. Oates, number 1, been to 1 second weekend. Painter's been to a few, never been to a Final Four. Kelvin Sampson's been to a couple of second weekends, I think like 3 or 4. Who else am I missing in the top 10? Bill Self is that. Everywhere else, like Jerome Tang, K-State's going to have like a 3-4 seed. It's his first year. Arizona, Tommy Lloyd, second year. He's been I don't think he's been to this second weekend. Mick Cronin's been okay. Hasn't had like a massive amount of second weekends. Sean Miller's been to 3 Elite Eights. Like, he's been through this tournament. He's got this team clicking. If they get Fremantle back, it's even better. I think I'll go with a lot of coaches' experience. I'll go with a lot of guys who can score. They got a bunch of double-digit scorers. And the kid, Boom, he's just built to go off in a game in March. I think Xavier's very live, and Creighton was a top 10 team who had some lulls. I think McDermott is a guy. He gave Kansas a lot of fight last year in that second round. Did that game go to overtime, Ebo? Am I remember? It was definitely close. It was like
Kansas game?
Kansas Creighton, yeah. It was definitely close. It was like a 4-6 point game, whatever it was. That was Kansas's pretty much closest game of the tournament, other than obviously a championship. Yeah, I think Creighton's obviously there, and I think Xavier's there. Megan, you got anything else on Xavier?
That game did not go to overtime.
It was close, though.
No, Xavier's just been one of those teams that lives in my gut. I really like their play style. Obviously, as you alluded to, the coaching is a humongous step up. He's got the experience. And look, I know that a lot of people don't think that they play good defense, but
Nope.
as you alluded to, it's a lot better than people think. I know,
better.
but Florida, you
They're
also
better.
think Kim Palm is dumb. So
Well, no, I
you
don't
can't
like
go-
him. I don't like that people just fucking swear by him when he's just this little bastard. But there's literally three
That's
teams.
stupid to say.
There's three teams I'd pick.
The fact of the matter is, if they're basing it off of 100 possessions in November or course of the year, they're giving up more points per 100 possessions. They're giving up now less points per 100 possessions than they were 2 months ago.
I mean, they just gave up 90 points to Providence. They just did. And they won.
But they beat Providence
but still,
as well.
at a high-
I think Providence is a
points is
fantastic
not.
team.
They play at a high tempo. Too.
There's-
That also
there's-
means they're going to go score 95.
There's three better
like,
teams in the Big East than Xavier.
All style of play.
There's three better teams.
Who would you rather have? Virginia, where 62 points beats you?
I don't.
More than one way to skin
Oh.
a cat. Virginia could go win a championship.
Virginia, I think Virginia is not that good. I think they are going to get bounced early. I would rather Creighton in the Big East. I'd rather Marquette in the Big East. I'd rather UConn in the Big East.
UConn,
You
I
really
think,
trust
is-
Shaka Smart?
Because the thing is, they're Marquette. The style of play is just like Xavier's, in my opinion. I really do trust Shaka with this team. Shaka is way better with a team that isn't Texas. Like they're not so
Aren't
in
like
your face.
grown ass men.
Yes, like he has to actually coach them up and like have a little grit to them, like his VCU days. Like there's a team though with UConn where early on everyone was like, holy shit, they might not lose a game. Then they had a little lull where they're like everyone kind of went off of them, and they're just been sitting there they're number 14 in the country. Like that's a team I feel like we're not talking about enough as well. What's crazy, the Big East all of a sudden just became this fucking powerhouse conference this year, where last year was kind of shitty, right?
I don't want to say shitty, but it was
Last year wasn't like Xavier wasn't like anything crazy.
I will say I definitely am more impressed, and I find myself like when I'm scrolling down the app, I find myself looking more at like a Big East than I would have last year.
Yes, 100%. And I almost say they're the second best conference this year.
Yes, I would say that they 100% are the second best. It's Big 12, Big East.
Yeah.
People say
Everybody else.
the SEC because of Alabama, and then you have those teams, but they've all fallen off very much so. And I think I'd probably go SEC third.
Maybe, and that's me being an SEC girl. I am so low on the SEC
I
this
think
year.
Big Ten SEC
Last.
is like
Nah, I still think the Big Ten, like I look at a conference, don't just judge the top, judge the whole thing. That's why I think the Big East, the Big 12 obviously is top to bottom, like show up or you're getting beat. The Big East has, for its 10 teams, has like 5 real championship contenders, and then you got Nova who's playing better. I'm sorry, St. John's is pesky. Butler's still like pesky. Like the only bottom is DePaul and Georgetown. So like that's a really
And
good conference.
even those two teams could be a random thorn in your side and like pull a win. Like it's like so. DePaul is like so random with their wins.
The Big Ten still to me has a bunch of good
Did you
teams.
say DePaul?
DePaul, is that right? DePaul.
you went
DePaul?
DePaul.
They still have a
DePaul.
bunch.
DePaul.
They still have a bunch of good teams in the Big Ten, so I give them credit. The bottom's really
But
bad.
the thing
but
is,
it's
I
like-
do feel like we say this every year. Like, oh, the Big Ten, like, because they're all so mid and they just beat each other at home. I feel like we're all like, oh, well, they have to be pretty good because they're beating each other up, but they're just never are. Like, they never are.
Well, there's just
We
a
do
lot
the
of
song
teams,
and dance
yeah.
every year.
I think the Big Ten has a bunch of teams now too that are like trending towards higher seeds or top 6 seeds that I just can't convince myself of them making a Final Four. Like Maryland's the 3 in the Big Ten. Like Willard's doing okay, but can't really convince me of that. Northwestern's high up there. Michigan's high up there. Like I don't know. A lot of these Big Ten teams, it's just like, yeah, you might be good in that conference, but nationally, I really don't know if I could take you serious as a Final Four contender.
So last year I was convinced myself that it was Illinois to lose. That was just dumb thinking by me. Just dumb.
And
Idiotic.
you know what? Like,
Moronic.
that team has Illinois is pretty good this year. Like
I
that's
know.
a team where I think you have to look at, because you have a guy who won a national championship. You have a guy who has been in the tournament, who's very good in Shannon Jr. Like those guys are good. Like this Illinois team has been the most up and down team, but that's a value pick where I'm like, holy
They're
fuck.
gonna make a stupid run. It's
Yes.
gonna happen. Like all of us are shit talking the Big Ten. It's either gonna be like them or I don't know, like Northwestern to make it to the Sweet 16. And you're like, what? Like, why am I here?
I like Northwestern's guards play. If Northwestern can get in that 5-4 type of game, I think they can get in.
I hope Purdue doesn't do anything just because I enjoy them being always good and everyone liking them and then sucking at one point in the tournament. It's one of my favorite things.
Well, Purdue had that gift wrap last year for the Final Four. You can't lose to St. Peter's.
You simply cannot. That was Sweet 16, right?
Yeah, with a week preparation.
Yeah, you simply just can't lose to that.
I actually
love that
forgive them.
St. Peter's team.
I forgive them less if they lose in the Elite Eight because it's a day prep. When they had a week prep for the Sweet 16, I was like, "There's no."
Yeah, and the Elite Eight would have been fucking UNC.
They also had. It's like, oh, well, you had Edey. Edey's enough. They also had Trevion Williams, who was a fucking monster.
They had
Imagine being
they
that
had
Purdue team
Jaden
and
Ivey.
you also have a week to prepare. You're Purdue,
I'm not. Forget Ivy. That's the crazy thing. Forget Ivy. The size advantage that they had down there was just like. They just pumped it into them until their arms fell off and made them call fouls.
Before we take a couple more calls, I want to talk to you guys about the Barstool Sports book. Barstool exclusive picks and parlays from Big Cat, Dave, and other personalities follow and fade. Tons of ways to bet, daily odds boosts, live in-game bets. Everyone here on this show has their own bets. Take them. The Parlay Plus to bet within same games across sports is the best feature of all time. Easy to navigate and use. People don't talk about that enough. If you're on a betting website that is hard to use, is one of the most frustrating things, and Barstool Sportsbook is the easiest thing ever to use. So make sure you download it today. Use code PICK to create an account. $1,000 new player bonus. If your first bet loses, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's take a couple of calls. You know what? We need a little gas up today. So Joey Freshwater, talk to us.
What up, Marty? You got me?
Yep.
All right, let's get a little gas them up going. Let's start behind the glass. The boys who make the machine run. We're going to EBO, the Pick Central EP. Keep pushing those Oriole takes, brother. Don't let this become a Yankees propaganda show. Marty, look, hell of a job hosting this week. A couple weeks ago, great job as well. Keep getting better each week. I think the show's going to be, it's going to be good whenever Brandon leaves. It's going to be a good show. I like it.
Nice.
Rico, day one rider. Wore my Black Rider shirt last year to the sports book on the Friday of March Madness. Best gambling day of my life. Couldn't thank you more. Megan making money. First gas them up for you. Money shots, solid. I watch consistently. Hope that show keeps up when y'all go to Chicago. I got to say, you and Ev are the best college basketball gamblers at the company. Keep giving picks. I'll keep tailing. Okay, here's the take, Mush. You've been talking that shit about UNC all year.
Yep.
They're about to beat Duke on Saturday, get in the tourney, and have essentially the same record as Duke. So I'm not really seeing where UNC is any worse than Duke this year.
Wow.
Thanks for taking my call. Freshwater out.
All right, Freshwater. You were
That's
great.
a Carolina guy over there. Huh? You can hear that accent?
With that, but you can't say that Duke and North Carolina have the same record. Duke's 22-8.
Yeah, but what are Duke's big non-conference wins? I know they beat Iowa.
Both of your fucking favorite teams.
Xavier?
They did beat Xavier early.
They beat Xavier. They lost to Purdue and Kansas early.
Smacked by Purdue. They lost to
They lost by 5.
What they have in the Big
Kansas.
Ten Challenge?
They beat Ohio State when they were
That's
ranked.
not really that
They were
great.
ranked 25 at that point.
That doesn't matter to me. They finished. That's even more indicative.
How?
Or that's
They were
just because they were ranked 25 in November shows me that nobody knew what they were talking about in the polls.
It's fine, but
Let it play out. You get way more credit for beating
Xavier.
a team like Marquette, who was nobody knew about. Like you beat Marquette in November, and then they turn out to be what they are. You get credit, or Texas A&M. Like you don't get credit for beating a team at 25 in November. They're not 25.
So,
They're barely 25 in the Big Ten.
So what's wrong with Duke's wins then? Xavier.
Oh, nothing. I just don't think they're as nice as people remember, or there are as many as you can really hang your hat on.
So Xavier, Iowa, Miami.
In conference is one thing. Yeah, in conference is. I'm just saying, out of conference.
Those are the nice out-of-conference wins from
They're not.
being
Yeah, they're just
biased.
not.
I mean,
They're not.
I love Miami.
They're
think
okay.
Miami
They're
can
not
fucking
terrific.
win.
They're okay. They're not terrific.
I just
Well,
think
if you love Xavier and I like Xavier, you got to say that's a terrific win. You have been on the Iowa train a little bit, so you have to say that's a good win. And I think Miami has the absolute grittiness, the length, the athletic ability to make a run. I think they're a good team, and I think that's a good win too. I don't want to, unbiased takeover here. I'll split the hair in the middle.
And what a lot of people don't know either was when they're playing those out of conference teams like Kansas and them, they didn't have their two best players at the time, which is something that I do think the committee does look at when this shit happens.
Makes sense. I forgot. Who was out? Was it Lively and Whitehead?
Lively and Whitehead, exactly. Number 1 and 2, and they're both. That's what thing is. Lively sucked this entire year, and then all of a sudden he's becoming the number 1 recruit again, and it's like he's dominating. So I don't know.
I would hate for my last name to be Whitehead.
Let's take a couple more. We got lines are full. Let's go with Jake. What's going on, man?
Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all hear me?
Yep, good.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, since the kind of spotlight's moving off of, Alabama and Brandon Miller and everything, do you think that kind of sets them up to have a really good run into the tournament?
Are you from Alabama?
He's not.
Yes.
Oh, you are. I guess this
could tell.
has a wrong location.
I could see A&M beating Bama Saturday.
Yeah, I can too, but I think anyone's an idiot to say Alabama can't make a run. Like, they obviously can. Their guard play is ridiculous, especially if Quinterly is coming off the bench at one point and then just
they're super deep.
They're deep.
Super deep.
But there is an experience, which is a thing that does happen. That's just always everyone always talks about, because if you think about the past winners, the past couple of national championships, right? They all have experience on those teams.
Well, Gurley's been around for a little bit. Bediako's been around for a little bit. Quinterly's been around for a little bit.
I'm saying in the tournament. Like, look at Kansas last year. They Abaji.
Yeah, they have a couple of guys who are Bama has a couple of guys who are role players that will contribute.
Let's go through.
They're carried by a star.
Yeah, no, and then
carried by a star freshman.
That happened. So let's go back to name the past couple of winners. So Kansas, they had experience.
Baylor had experience.
Baylor had a lot of experience.
Virginia had experience.
Virginia, a ton of experience.
18 Nova experience.
17
Carolina experience.
Like, a lot of these, we love these one and dones, but even when Duke won in 2015, they had a lot of experience like that. I hate to say it. I fucking hate when people say experience, but it's just what's.
I think Duke started 3 freshmen that year, though.
But they also had Quinn Cook in the senior, who, like, it's just saying, like, that when they're one of the role players is that gets everyone going. Like,
but I think Bama does have that. Also, Mark Sears is a senior, been at Ohio. He's another one with experience.
That's not experience, though.
Tournament experience? Yeah. I guess that's. Well, Sears was at Ohio. He would have won that COVID game against Virginia in 2021.
Yeah, I'm just saying they definitely can win. I'm saying, but it's just when it goes back to it, usually just does have a lot of a main player who has a lot of experience. Let's go to we have Bobby. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on, Marty?
What's going on?
So, anyways. Everybody's saying, SEC basketball, third best in the country. You got to be kidding me. I mean, Kentucky is in prime position to make a deep run this year. I mean, they're probably going to get a 7 to 10 seed, and that's probably going to be their most dangerous game, go into the second round and play some joke that doesn't play in a tough conference with a good record, because we all know how the brackets work. We all know that they want ratings. We all know that they want matchups. And I think Kentucky, there are losses that weren't flukes because, let's be honest, there's ebbs and flows in every college basketball season. I think the team with Big O down low, getting rebounds, 12.3 rebounds a game, and he's scoring double digits. That's a tough matchup for, like, any mid-major small school that has going to have a good record and coming in the tournament with high hopes.
Wait, real quick, Bobby. I don't think, since they're going to be seeded to 7 to 10, that they're not going to play any mid-major.
I think they will, because I think we've put so many eggs in the baskets of I think this year's the year that everybody thinks we we were talking about like the Big East coming out of nowhere. We're talking about,
But what mid-major is going to be?
Mid-major is getting a 2. The 2 seeds are going to be like Baylor, UCLA, Arizona, and
you're gonna
A-State.
Kentucky's going to have a tougher because they're not gonna get one of those.
Zaga 3.
Low-hanging fruits, if you will.
That's a wild comment.
You're a Kentucky fan, Bobby, huh?
Maybe I'm backed into the corner, and
might be Bobby. This might be Bobby Regan.
He's like, I got to get off this call now.
Back to the blog.
Kind of, did me a little dirty because I'm normally rooting for Villanova because I'm from Philly. I'm from Philly, but when you make Jay Wright want to retire, something's going wrong over there. So I got to figure out my life right now.
You know what? This call I love now. He's like, man, I don't know, man. I just want to talk. All right, I'm trying to figure it the fuck out.
I'm just trying to talk through my life right now.
Let's do this before you take the next call. So, all right. So picture this: it's Thursday of the Sweet 16. You're at your desk in the cubes. You're here. You're like, I can't. You get home 5:00. Game starts at 7. You grill up some Omaha steaks. You're thrilled. What is the game like of a dream matchup that you want to see in the Sweet 16? Whether it's a 1-4, a 2-3, who are 2 teams that you're like, that would be fucking fun? Whether it's contrasting styles, like
See, no, I don't want a contrasting style like a Dayton and St. Louis tonight. I don't want a game like that. I want I want 2 high-scoring teams.
Everybody's a little bit different. So, Ebo, we'll start behind the glass. What's the dream matchup you would have for the Sweet 16?
I would probably have JMU George Mason.
It's like
I'd love Bama Marquette.
Bama Marquette
would be
mine's a hair off of that. Megan, what's yours?
Man, that's what I'm saying. I want 2 high scoring teams. I want it to be like a NBA style game. So obviously I would love Xavier. Xavier, a ton of points putting up. Let me think of another team puts up a ton of points.
I want Virginia not on my screen ever.
Yeah,
Virginia's so boring.
It's just like that little fucking twerp, Kiki Clark, whatever his fucking name
is. Yeah.
I hate that little bastard.
He's been there forever.
I think there's a few that jump out. All of them kind of regulated around Bama because Bama is, whether you're going to call me a homer or not, Bama is fun to watch. I think a rematch of Bama Gonzaga could be very fun.
Ugh.
Bama Xavier would be very fun.
Bama Xavier would be a good one. I think
one I'm going to go up. The one I'll go with though is Bama K-State.
So you want to see
that kid Noel is built.
You can't say Bama of every fucking team. They're not the funnest team to watch.
They're fun to watch. That's
but you can't have every team that you want to see is Bama.
How about Miami Xavier? That'd be a fun little
Miami
Xavier.
That would be fun too. Yeah.
I think K-State's really fun viewing too. I really do. Noel's is really, really good. Tang's
sold on them.
But they're fun. I think they're fun to watch.
Oh, no, they are. They are.
I want to watch them. I'm not sold on them. Keontae Johnson's really good.
Their mascot creeps me out. I don't like him. He humps the ground during football games.
So what would yours be? Xavier who?
Mine was Bama
Marquette. All right. I love how he says Bama's not fun to watch.
Yeah, but you had 4 instances of the same team. I don't want to see all Bama games.
They're fun to watch. I think those other teams that I'm saying are fun
to watch. It would be a potential.
Bama Miami would be fun to watch too.
Toledo Xavier, I think, would be good. I think that's what I want.
Yeah,
I want a Toledo Xavier.
That's the thing with this bubble. So Wisconsin has 14 losses. They're on the bubble. Mississippi State's been up and down in a bad conference. They're on a team to me.
Penn State's in right now.
A team like Kent State, Toledo, the MAC should be looking at 2 teams. Conference USA, Jelly doesn't have a lot of great wins, but a team like North Texas has a really good record. Give to me Carolina, especially if they don't beat Duke and loses early in the ACC tournament, they wasted all their opportunities. What do you think Kent State would do right now to kill for a quad 1 opportunity? I'm just saying opportunity. Just let them play a quad 1 game. These teams don't get quad 1 games. You heard it with the guy from Richmond saying when he challenged the reporter, he's like, go find me 5 games. I'll give you $100,000. No one will play home and homes with us. No one. So to me, let me see one of the mid-majors. Give the mid-majors the last bids instead of the teams
totally opposite of you. I understand what you mean, but I'm totally opposite. I'd rather I'd rather UNC in than fucking Kent State.
Why though? I feel like Kent State, like you have like that's like the St. Peter's, like the Oral Roberts, like these guys.
Well,
will
because you're gonna
probably
But
get
they were all
those-
one. They were all one bid leagues. What I'm
those
saying
you're
is
gonna get no
make
matter
them
what.
at large.
Like I'm gonna get the mid majors already in the tournament, which is why it makes it the best. But if you're gonna round out the tournament, I don't think you should put less. Like Kent State's just not as good as UNC. You know that.
Well, how many times do we keep letting Carolina swing and miss though for a win? Like they basically lost every
I
chance
don't
they
think
can,
should be in.
and now they can go on another run like that.
They have one quad one win. I don't believe they should be in.
Penn State's gonna go like 23-6 or 23-7, whatever they are. They did what they were supposed to in that conference. Let's say they lose the MAC championship by a point to a really good Akron or Toledo team. You're gonna hold Kent State out of the tournament?
Yeah, because no, but I get what you mean. Like I want to look at Kent. I don't know why we're stuck on Kent State, but let's look at their losses, right? So their losses, they lost to Charleston, who obviously,
Good.
and Houston, who's good. They lost to Gonzaga. Like they lost all of their chances to have those quad one wins.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
it's 4 or 5 games. Like Carolina gets 12 quad one
because they
opportunities.
play in a good conference where Kent State is playing Ball State. It's like, all right, well, what are we gonna crown them for beating Ball State twice? You know. And actually, they lost to Ball State the second time. So it's like you can't. I love that people love these mid majors, but you put a mid major into the ACC, they're not going to be close.
I think my thing is it's just like the madness, like in the March Madness is I love to see just complete and utter chaos, and I feel like throwing more mid majors in there, to potentially round it out could just make for more
100.
chaos and madness, and I think that would be what I would like. But I understand the
100%.
quality of basketball.
But
is what
then,
you're saying.
honestly, though, look at the Final Four last year, right? It was kind of amazing. Duke, UNC, Villanova, Kansas. Like, that's kind
It's
of like.
boring though, kind of.
But it was kind of like St. Peter's would have gotten absolutely smoked by any of those teams.
Yeah, I get it at the same time, but it's just like I feel like it's when everyone's complaining about whenever we're talking about football, it's like, well, it's Georgia, Alabama, and everyone's
Yeah,
like,
but those guys don't even get a chance.
every single year.
Those guys don't even get a chance to get in. These guys at least get a chance. I don't know. I it's a good argument to would you rather? But I thought St. Peter's was nice to see the whole run, but I don't need them in my Final Four. But then some
I
people
just
do
also
like
loved how many brackets it broke. Like that,
Yes.
so many people thought that they were so fucking smart, and then St. Peter's made you all look like idiots, me included.
Let's take a couple more calls before we go to picks. Ethan, what's going on?
Am I on?
Yep.
Marty, on Twitter, you're saying Michigan's a tournament team. How far does Hunter got to shove his cock down your throat for you to say that?
So
They're
his
17 and
dick
13
is
and
pretty
54 to
far.
that, man.
His dick is pretty far in.
Unreal.
Well, let's slow it down.
Unreal.
Let's slow it down. His dick is pretty far in, but it's also like, what am I supposed to do? Not root for the guy on my podcast? So
No, you can root for him. But
no, it seems like you can't,
you
Ethan.
gotta say that third.
So when you go 6-2 in the Big Ten in February, like they're playing when they had an injury, their starting point guard tore his ACL, and then all of a sudden they're all starting to click now. They are better than Wisconsin. They're better than Penn State. I think that they should be in.
Agreed, but they got 3 quad one wins.
So UNC has 1, and they're in the tournament. So what's the difference?
I don't think UNC should be in.
Well, they are. So what's the difference?
All right. Are they in right now? I see them on the first 4 out.
People have
Also, if
first
you
4
look
out,
at
first
Minari-
4 in.
Last 4 in.
Last 4 in. So that's what I'm saying.
I
There's
saw them on the first 4 out, but I don't
look
know.
at what about Wisconsin then?
Michigan-
Wisconsin's in.
And 13. They're just not. Is Wisconsin 17 and 13?
Wisconsin's 16-13, and they're in.
All right, then I don't think they should be in either. But there's just
They are. So I mean, I won the argument.
Michigan can't be in.
But Wisconsin can.
There's no way Wisconsin's making a tournament now.
They're in it, bro. They're the last 4 in. I don't know what to tell you.
Are you the committee? Has it been updated since they lost Purdue
Got
last night?
updated this morning.
From who? Lenardi? You can't listen to Lenardi. He sucks.
Okay, there we go. I mean,
St.
I
Joe's in. I agree with
you know what? You can tell me I have Hunter's dick in my mouth, but at least come with actual facts.
Are you the committee? No, I just read what they said.
Read what the people are saying. Yes, Ebo.
You were talking about the dream Sweet 16 matchup.
Yes.
I've been back here trying to think of just like nightmare scenario Final Fours where it's like Virginia, Houston, Mississippi State, Rutgers.
Well, Rutgers, honestly, we didn't even talk about it. They might not get in.
Oh.
I've never wanted to watch a basketball team less than Rutgers. No offense to TJ, I love TJ, but that team
Rutgers
is hard to
is a
watch.
frustrated. Their offense is one of the most frustrating things to watch. Their
Just
defense
one of
is
those
good.
things. Like, I guess if you ask Peichel, like, obviously he doesn't want to get rid of that defensive mentality. I don't think you should ever, like, just have guys who don't care about defense. But, man, after a while, like, maybe lighten up the defense. Like, put it like this way. If you were trying to get into a college and it was like, all right, you need 1,200 SAT and a 90 average. And let's say the 1,200 SAT is offense and the 90 average is defense. He's not budging on defense. I think he should budge a little bit if a guy's got a 1,500 SAT score, meaning he's really good on offense. Like, you could teach him defense, or he could, like, you need somebody to score the ball, man. They got nobody who can shoot.
They have
one kid, what's his name, Spencer?
Yeah, that's it.
He's okay, but he's not, like
Gil
lights out.
McConnell,
Yeah.
Paul McKay are not getting it done. Like, and Cliff just dunks the
Got
ball all the time.
You got to figure it out. Go get some offense. But I guess they're in on that kid, Harper.
Yeah, it's
Ron Harper's kid.
Ron
Like,
Harper's
he can be a big
brother
deal,
who's
but
like no, but he's like really good.
I know. But Rutgers is. Yeah,
let's
it's
do
just
our
offense.
picks
I
and
don't know
I
how
can
you
maybe try and take some of these people. Megan, what's your picks?
All right, I'm on Indiana State minus the 3, which if you like it, I think it's down to 2, so I'm not loving that. I'm on Toledo minus 4 and Dayton money line.
Rico.
Why am I having trouble pulling this up?
They should pop up right now, I think.
Oh, there you go. No, I think I'm opposite you, Megan. It's I'm
You are.
going with Belmont, and then I'll take Drake Murray State over 141.5. Drake kind of hangs it on people. Murray State played yesterday in that win. They killed Valpo. So I think there you might get a little bit of tightness in the legs defensively. I think Drake scores it on them. I'll take both of those. 6 out of my last 7, 2-0 last night. Hawaii in
Let's
a
go.
snooze fest.
I want
You'll
to
lose the Belmont one today, though. I'm sorry.
I have Mercer minus 6. The best player on the Citadel tore his ACL, and you know who he is.
Did he?
Yep, tore his ACL.
Oh,
Or he got
motherfucker.
hurt. Austin Ash.
What a shame.
Toledo minus 4, St. Louis money line. I need to tell everybody, relax a little bit this weekend. Don't go too crazy with your bets. Just be responsible. Just go slow because next week is arguably almost better than March Madness. It's
Go
close.
slow,
You can
don't
argue
look your lip.
because the conference tournament, everyone trying to get in, especially with the bubble this year, people are more desperate than ever. It's going to be one of the best conference tournaments in a while.
I think the conference tournament can be better than.
Yeah, you can
than the
argue it
tournament,
being
like,
better than the
I
tournament.
mean, between Ethan and Bobby, you can just tell how crazy everything is going to be. No
Yes.
one fucking knows what's happening.
No one knows. It's
Plus, you
not like
somehow stumble into those games that you watch. Like last year, like Conference USA was on nobody's radar, and then Conference
Let me-
USA became must-watch television.
Let me ask you a
That's
question.
how it goes.
This might be stupid, so let me work through it. But like a Michigan team, right? Say they beat Indiana, but they still need that one win. Like sometimes you need they might get buys. They'll come in second. Like they might play a harder team right away, but they would you rather play like a Wisconsin or like a Penn State early on in the tournament instead of getting the bye because you need those wins? Like, isn't it kind of a weird...
Kind of. I could see what you're saying. Like 17 and 14 looks a lot better than 17 and or. Yeah, I get what you're saying because you would stack up another win.
Yeah,
but
you don't
that
wanna play
loss,
you don't
that
wanna play
loss might
Minnesota.
those might be play in, play out games.
Yeah.
That could be a crippler because if you lose that, all of a sudden now Wisconsin's in the semi instead of you. How could you possibly catapult yourself ahead of Wisconsin with that head-to-head loss?
No,
So
it's confusing.
I would just take the bye.
You
Just
want
give me
the
the
bye,
bye.
obviously, but it's like if
I
you
feel
could
like,
just
though,
weasel
You're
one out.
taking just as big of a risk with the bye because it's like the rest versus rust. I feel like those,
Yeah.
those teams that are like rolling, you roll.
There's teams
And
like
if you-
Boston College last year who fucking made that little run in ACC because they played a shit team then won. But you don't want to be like TJ and have to play the Minnesota again, you know?
Conference tournaments do it so well.
Are you
too,
okay?
Because
I'm dressed in all black today.
With a question mark on your hat because that's what Rutgers
like
is
the-
right now.
The bubble's gonna be so fucking annoying.
The bubble's gonna be I told
if we make
Hunter
it that far.
I want
Wasn't
Hunter
this the
to
same
be
exact resume last year. Like you were
Every
ranked.
year they've done
you were ranked
this is
and got to the
fourth year in a
bubble,
row
right?
that they've done this to themselves, where they've played
The-
themselves off of Kentucky.
the 11. Dayton's just going to be the Big Ten tournament again.
Yeah, it's going to
Just
be us
all
and
them
Michigan,
playing.
and then
Still the
Wisconsin,
craziest
maybe.
one though. What year
Penn
were
State.
you? What year were you a seed? Was it a 10 when you had Houston with a minute
2021.
left?
Yep.
Yeah.
We had them. We were up like 10 on them, I think, in the second half. Blew that,
Yeah,
and
that
then they
was
went to the
bad.
Final
Like
Four.
6 with a minute, if I remember,
that
or
wasn't
like
good.
7 with a minute. That was bad.
Life of a Rutgers
TJ, you
sports
look
fan.
like the new age Riddler.
We were in Detroit or Michigan that year. Chicago.
Yeah.
I live bet Houston with a minute. I was like,
Yeah, I know.
sorry, TJ, but
No, yeah, it's bad. But that's Pick Central. Enjoy your weekend. Let me tell you, it felt good to beat Bobby in that.
You nailed him.
I did
You
kind of
nailed
nail him.
him.
I don't nail
Bobby
many
didn't have a
people
chance.
in sports arguments. I don't usually nail a lot of people. I nailed Bobby.
Because my back's against the wall.
One guy, Kentucky guy, was just like, I'm just trying to figure out my life, man. I'm like, all right, that guy's cool. All right, that's the show. We will be back. I won't be here on Monday, but everyone will be back on Monday. See you guys.